So before we get started, right, I have a question for you. So how many of you have heard about Power Map? Almost everybody. And how many of you have actually built a Power Map tour? Great. How do you like it? Do you like this product? Yes?
I know it's early, but...
All right. It's early. We are trying to get you to interact with us and have fun with us. So that's what it will be, right? The whole session is all about visualizations, you know. All right, so we'll do that. So we obviously, as a product team, you know, Power Map team is looking for all the feedback that you can provide us. So even after the session, please let us know as you have been using it, what is the feedback of yours, and we'll pass it along to the engineering team as well. Right? You want to say anything else, Miguel?
And you're going to notice through the presentation with the new things that we have coming for Power Map is that we're actually listening to users and trying to bring in new features that are actually coming from you. So that feedback is what we're looking for. And what we're going to do today is basically show you a couple of slides trying to get you to know where actually Power Map came from and what's coming. And then Sanjay is going to do a great demo and actually a very interesting topic. We're going to try to show you everything as we can so you can go back to wherever you are from and actually play around with all the features that allow you to use Power Map as a very strong storytelling tool.
Exactly. So here's our agenda, Power BI for Office 365. So how many, obviously all of you use Excel, right? But how many of you actually have subscription for Power BI? So let me really share this with you, and of course Miguel is going to talk in more details later on. With Office 365, you'll get his automatic updates to of all these products, right? Especially these add-ins like Power Map. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. Then Power Map for Excel updates. Obviously there is Excel version as an add-in. Then there's Power BI, Office 365, you know, things. So he's going to talk about both of those things. Then we'll have some new demos for you. In fact, we're going to give you a cybercrime demo. We'll build something from scratch, right? So as many of you have, so who has not used Power Map? Who has not built anything from it? So no worries. I'm going to show you everything from scratch, right? As if you don't know anything about Power Map. At the same time, we're going to highlight the features that other people who have used Power Map, some of the advanced features, right?
Yeah. We're going to try to switch between, for you guys that have used Power Map, try to show you every single detail around the features so you can go back with something, and then for you guys who haven't used it, we're still going to build something from scratch. So
and of course, next steps, what's coming. So let's talk about this. So well, it's a fun video for you, right? All of us have used Excel, so let's see if we can play this for you in terms of spreadsheet jail that we talk about. Like this? All right, you want to be amazed at this, you know. So just, yeah, if you clap, we don't mind at all because we're having fun already all in the morning. So
the idea of that video is to represent two things. One is when people think about Excel, they think about the old Excel that can do things like the ones we've seen here. And also that feeling that you have data and you have cells and you're never able to turn that into something, into a story that you can tell someone else. That's the main mission of Power Map. Turning data points into something that you can show and into something that you can convince someone around that story or around your analysis. So it's important to know from the beginning that Power Map is more than an analysis tool, it's a storytelling tool. Once you've done your analysis with Excel, Power View, with discovery tools, you actually can use Power Map to connect and transmit that story.
Absolutely. So here's some of the comments from folks who have said anything about, well, we have to minimize that, I guess, the video. No, the video is still on over there, so.
No, it's
let's just do duplicate. So that video is still there.
No, it's this slide.
Oh, really? Okay. All right, here we go.
Oh.
We're good, we're good. So Power Map, some unsolicited customer feedback. So customers have really loved it, people who have used it. So all you need is two things, right, for Power Map. Can you guess for me what are the two things you need in terms of your data set for Power Map to work? Let's say you have Excel sheet, right? What are the two things you need? Sorry? Geography column and a data column. Pretty much, that's it. If in your spreadsheet you have latitude, longitude, city, zip code, country, one of those columns, and if you have the value you want to display, that's it, you can build a Power Map. It's as simple as that, right? So every spreadsheet I think should really be, you should be able to build Power Map. I've been associated with Microsoft BI for 15 plus years. And this is really, really exciting time with Power BI and with Power Map, all these good things that you have now available. So really good stuff. All right, so let's keep going. So we want to show you, the next thing we want to show you is another video. So this is for me, is as interesting as it gets. What kind of Power Map tours you can create with Power Map. So take a look at this. So how many of you have done trick-or-treating during Halloween times? All right. So here we go. Let's find the best place to do trick-or-treating in USA. So just get inspired by this, what kind of tours you can create. And we'll build something from scratch at the end. You don't want to be trick-or-treating when it's crime happening there. So.
No.
Any guesses? Winners? Here we go. Oh. Aloha. Right here.
Close enough. Okay, so Sanjay, give me a minute here. There's a specific reason why we wanted to show you guys this video. This is a 2-minute video where you have basically every single feature in Power Map in that video. Background music, the type of visualizations that we have, so regions, heat maps, pie charts, and bars. You have layers, which is overlapping different sets of data on the same visualization. Annotations where you see the picture and then some sort of text or the values that correspond to that specific geospatial point. And then the visualizations that you have, either 3D or 2D maps with any type of angle that you want to use. So this is a great example of every single Power Map feature that you can include in one visualization. And we're going to check all of them in the demo that Sanjay is going to give.
So now I have a question for you. All of us have been in Excel, our business. How many of you are business users in this room? Okay, rest of you from IT, right? So I'm going to ask this question to business people first, right? So you all have been used to do Excel. Do you think such a visualization, such a storytelling, is it actually useful? Or is it just demoware? What do you think? Useful? IT people, I'm going to ask you the question, right? Do you think your business people will like something like this? You think so, right? So I was in Microsoft IT for 7+ years and whatnot, it's fine. Then I was in business team and for like 1.5 years at Microsoft before this role. And initially it took me, actually, I'm being honest with you, it took me some time to convince business people that this would be something useful. Why? They said, well, there are always early adopters, business people who are really excited about these things and they're, wow, this is exciting. But then there are people who say, hey, look, we are used to do our Excel sheets and numbers and everything. I think this is too fleshy for us. So what will you do in that case? Any ideas? Any guesses? Yes? Awesome. So the feedback I got was you really have to sometimes convince some people in your business teams that, you know what, let's put a spreadsheet this side and the visualization on the other side, and then you will be able to do it. And the reason I'm considering this worst case scenario is because I faced this within Microsoft even. Some business people love it and say, oh, the other it's flashy. So you have to keep trying. Just change that whole thinking that people have had in the past, and just you'll like it. They will like it at the end. So it does work, you know. All right. So
and like it or not, we process visual information much better than numbers and cells.
Exactly. All right, Miguel, I'll give you this.
You have a question or
comment? Yes. Absolutely.
And just a follow-up question. When you share Power Map visualizations, do you export videos or do you do it right into Excel? Okay.
Right into Excel.
Sure.
So that's good. So because you have two options, we'll show you at the end, and so you can do those two things. Okay. So and one more thing, make sure the data is correct, because if the data is not right, then business will not trust it anyway. So that's the thing. Okay, I'll give this control to Miguel for a couple of slides, and then I'll start with the demo.
So here you're going to notice I come from marketing because I'm going to give you the value prop and pitch about Power Map. So I'll make it quick and simple. The mission, we already talked about it, is to transform data into fluid 3D stories, unlocking new insights for everyone. But not unlocking new insights, also telling that story to someone else that don't want to understand or they just want to know what that information is telling you. Power Map is under the umbrella of Power BI. We know we've been very confusing around naming our BI tools. What we're trying to do with Power BI is create this set of tools of authoring in Excel and consumption, sharing, and collaboration in the cloud. What you have in the cloud is actually in Office 365, and what you have in Excel, Power Map being part of it, is directly into the client so you can author all these reports. And what we're trying to do here is follow the process of any business analyst when they're trying to build a project or analyze data, which is first they need to discover that data. That's what we have Power Query for. Analyze it. We have Power Pivot to build models with drag and drop. And then visualize it, which is either Power View or what we're talking about here, Power Map. You're going to see that Power Map is not following that whole process into the cloud, which is Office 365. You can share reports today with Power View, and they have the same interactivity and the same behavior that they have in the client. But Power Map, the only way that we have today to share that is a video, which is not an interactive experience like it is in Excel, where you can actually stop a tour, you can click in one data point, and you get the actual values that come with it. We received that feedback, which is part of what we hear from you guys, and we're evaluating the options that we have for doing that. And then this is what I mentioned again, Excel, what you see in green, the process of discover, analyzing, and visualizing, and then sharing that in Office 365. There's a session going on after this one, which is a Power BI specific one that actually highlights a lot of what's going on in Office 365 and in the cloud and how you can share the work that you do with Excel. It's by Michael Tejedor, Product Marketing Manager for Power BI. So I recommend that if you guys are interested not only in Power Map, but on the other set of tools that we have in Excel, go to that session because it's very, very good. Okay, so A little bit about, we all know what geospatial data is becoming so important and where all this is coming from. We've always had dashboards that were custom built by IT with maps, trying to relate some sort of geospatial data point to actual data. What we're trying to do here is do it self-service. As you're going to see with Sanjay's demo, the idea is that everyone can take the data and with as little steps as possible, create a visualization that is going to dazzle everyone. The concept here is spatial. Obviously, I mentioned that is becoming important, but also temporal, seeing the transformation of data over time. So that's another big pillar in Power Map. And the last one is reframing, like having different visualizations for the different type of data that you want to have. As we saw in the video and the visualization for Halloween, maybe something as home value you want to display as a bar chart to see the difference between states. But then when you're looking at crime, you might have a comparison by state with size that tells you how big the crime is, and then a split between two dimensions like street crimes and crimes at home. So where did Power Map came from? Actually, it came from a Microsoft research project called the Worldwide Telescope, which was basically a project trying to map everything in the universe where people could interact, and that's the key part of this project. Trying to identify stars, planets, and actually click on those and get annotations and information about those. When I tell you that, you can see how that relates to Power Map in a way that if you're interacting with Power Map in Excel, you can actually do that. You can stop tours, you can play around if you have a touchscreen or a PPI that we have on the Expo Hall. You're going to be able to see how people can actually play around with this. We're going to try to do it here with a laptop that has a touchscreen, and you're going to get the idea of what you can do with that.
And you have to unlock this for me. So.
Yeah, that one? Locked. Okay. So the evolution. I think most of you guys experience Power Map in the stage that is the past right now. So the Power Map preview for Excel, it was basically an add-in that you had to go install and enable. Where we are today is that Power Map comes within Excel. It's still an add-in, but it comes enabled as any other add-in that you see in Excel. There's a caveat to that, which is it's only available that way for Office 365 subscriptions. I'm going to give you guys more details after that. And then moving into the future, we're going to keep improving the tool with customer feedback. I would dare to say 100% of the features that are in the works today and that you're going to see over the coming months being released come from requests from customers. And that's, again, what we want to highlight, not only to us today in the session. Obviously, we're going to take this back to engineering, but also on the tools that you have in Office 365. Provide that feedback as much as you can because those guys actually look at it. It's important to, and I mentioned this in the beginning, I don't want to be repetitive, but remember that the main use of Power Map is storytelling. And the tools and the features that we're going to give you are actually trying to allow you to do that. Highlight data points, highlight patterns in data, trying to tell that story. There's a second pillar, which is discovering insights. As Sanjay is going to show in the cybercrime demo, some things, even with Power Map, which is a tool that people can say like it's flashy and there's no too much insights that you can get from it, you can actually discover patterns in geospatial data in two dimensions. One is the actual spatial data, like seeing, for example, a country where something is not happening or a region where something is happening. Also playing that data over time. You can see the evolution of some data points over time. That's the second pillar. And then the third one, which is, at least for Power Map, share those stories, is that you can export those tours, and we also want to give you tools to make those tours more consumable. So again, in the Halloween video that we show you, you see that little music on the back that creates that mood of Halloweenish feeling. That's something that you can also do in Power Map, and we give you the tools for doing that. And we're going to see that also in the demo. Some technical facts. We're using the Bing API. So imagine something like this. If you go to Bing Maps and you type a zip code, basically Power Map has the same functionality. If you have a zip code on your data, Power Map will recognize that automatically and will make a recommendation based on the data you have. So if you have counties, if you have country, if you have cities, it will recognize that data and make it easier for you to decide which of those geospatial fields you can use for your visualization. You have layers, so you can overlay different types of visualization in different types of geospatial data. So if you have zip codes for home value, and then you have population for cities, you can create a heat map with population, and at the same time create a bar chart on different types of geospatial data and different values on that. And then the type of visualizations that you have today, you guys know this and you've seen it. We have bar charts, regions, heat maps, and pie charts. And of course, because of customer feedback, we're evaluating coming up with new visualizations. And then for discovering insights, then you have the play over time data, annotation, that's insights and also storytelling. Like if you really want to highlight something, you have the option of create an annotation that can have any type of information you need. The specific one that we saw here is basically putting a photo of the city. If you say, look at Boston, like all these values for walkability, crime, etc., makes it a great place to trick or treat. But if you put a picture on it, like the impact is much better. Translate that to a business case. Like if you have a store and you put a picture of a store, that's going to transmit a much stronger message.
I have a question for them. While you log in here.
While
you log in there. So the people who have used PowerMap, which visualization do you normally use? I just want to get some quick poll. Which ones do you actually use? Like column chart, stack chart?
Everything.
But which one is your favorite? Column. What about others? Sorry? Heat map? You said heat map?
Columns?
Columns?
Okay.
So which other visualizations would you like to see in PowerMap in future? Just a quick poll question. Anything else you would like to see? Your own areas.
Oh, interesting.
Your own areas, right? Within that, zoom in. Okay. What other feedback do you have? Any other two other feedbacks? Anything else you would like to see in PowerMap? Filtering. Okay, filtering time slices. Okay, that was
nice.
it. Go ahead, keep going.
Perfect. You make us very happy with those requests. And then share stories. I mentioned this, and I'm going to go pretty quick. Export videos for any type of format and any type of size. Like if you want to email it or you want to share it in SharePoint, you have all the options. And then the new one here, and that Sanjay is going to show today, is adding the soundtrack, and then the different options you have for adding that soundtrack. Looping it, depending if how long your tour is, the option of fading in and fading out, trying to make it as professional as possible for sharing with more people. So here are the details of what I mentioned before. PowerMap is available now, so it's GA as we call it in Microsoft, as part of Office 2013 SP1 with subscription. So you do get PowerMap, the latest bits, the latest updates automatically if you are on an Office 365 subscription on any SKU. Based on customer feedback, we realized that not everyone is on an Office 365 subscription, even if you guys have Office 2013. So what we announced a couple of months ago was when we were going GA with PowerMap, we were going to kill the preview. We realized that, again, there's a lot of people out there that love PowerMap and only have the box version of Office 2013. So we removed that deadline. Now anyone without an Office 365 subscription but with Office 2013 can keep using the PowerMap preview. A caveat for that, actually our recommendation is it's not supported. You're still going to get most of the new features, but we don't have a timeline, or we're not pushing ourselves to push the same updates that we make on the native PowerMap add-in in the Office 365 subscription to the preview. So you might lag, or you might be behind some of the new features that we're launching over the next 6 or 7 months. This is an important issue, so I don't know if you guys have any questions, or maybe at the end. Okay. This is just a table to show you that the actual features that we talk about here, creating videos, adding soundtrack, filtering custom regions, all the things that we've been thinking about come directly from you guys. So that's why I was so happy to hear the feedback that you guys had, because I can't promise anything, but that's the direction where we're going. And every time you see a new feature, you're going to realize that that's a promise that we have for PowerMap and for Power BI, which is we're listening to you every single day. So without further talking,
Yeah.
Sanjay, do you want to do the demo?
Awesome. So let's see if we can get the sound as well.
Oh, because you're going to put some music on.
I don't know if we'll try. I mean, okay. Here we go. Is this my laptop here?
You have 2 screens. Oh, you can duplicate.
Yeah.
Oh, you're going to have to give me a sec. Give us a sec here, guys. Screen resolution. That's it. Few changes. Okay.
Thank you. All right. So we're going to start from scratch. So Excel, let's just close everything and let's start from scratch. I'm going to open an Excel file in which we have data. So let's just do this again.
So a question while Sanjay puts this up. We talk about Power Map and we ask you who's using that. Have you guys used any of the other so-called power features in Excel, meaning Power Query, Power Pivot, and Power View? Just 3 people?
So do you use Power Query?
Okay, cool.
Power Query,
That's
anybody
better.
has used Power Query?
So you guys are hardcore Power Map fans. I like that. So Sanjay actually, I mean, he's going to be heavy on Power Map, but he's also going to show the options and the capabilities that you get using the other Power features to come up with Power Map visualizations, specifically about discovering data and building those models.
So let's start here, right? So we have Excel, blank Excel file right here. I mean, and then there is this option of Power Query. So Power Query allows you to obviously search world's data. And in Power Query, if I type population, for example, and I search for it, so now it's searching the full catalog across, internet, if you would, the data catalog, and it shows me some data sets. So what you can do is though, and then you can actually bring any of these data sets. Okay, this one has some country, it has some values, so maybe I can try to see if I can access this one. All you do is click on it, and then data comes into Excel, right? Here's your data in Excel. Now what you can do though is you could also create your own data catalog for your own company. So how many of you have actually heard about organization data catalog that's available in Excel? And how many of you are from IT again? All right, so you have terabytes of data, right, from IT, and you want to give access to your business users? Please mark these 3 words: organization data catalog, part of Power Query. We at Microsoft had 30 terabyte plus data warehouse data. How did we make it available? Through data catalog. So you can create your own organization, private data catalog, implement your Active Directory security on top of it, give access to this business user, but not give access to the other business user. You have secure data catalog. Why am I saying all this? Because at the end of the day, Power Map needs data, right? And your IT folks can actually provide that data to business users using data catalog. And the way it will show up for you.
Let me highlight something else about that.
Absolutely.
If you saw that Sanjay actually did an online search, imagine how the world changes for business users like us when instead of having to go and build an ETL SQL query or whatever, like a download, a cube, whatever, you just search for the data that you want and you can import that direct into Excel. Just the time savings and the process is so simple doing that instead of going through the regular channels while you keep the governance and security. That's just life-changing.
Absolutely. So what you will see here is an option of essentially, right here, an option of Power Query sign in. And that's where you can have the data catalog, where you have all terabytes of your data sets, and your business users can simply consume by searching data here. Make sense? How many of you would like to use this feature? It's amazing. I mean, it really works. And the best way for you to give access to your users, all the way in Excel, just search, And here we are. I search some data set. It's available here. But then, let's say I want to go to this Power Query here, and edit this data. Let's say I want to do something with this data, right? So it has urgent country name. It has value. So whatever that value is, maybe this is, I'm just going to say something about population or something like that, whatever it is, in some kind of sense. Remember the 2 columns I said for Power Map. What are those that you need? Geography and your column data. That's it. these two things. Let's say this is it. I have not tried this one, Miguel. It's a new trial. Okay, this is a new search. Just came up on top.
Okay.
I just picked it.
Actually, you have an advantage here because you also have year, and we can add time to that too.
Okay, all right. So let's say this is really the
date column.
Yep, this is it.
And replace values. Make that over there.
Yeah.
No, sorry. Cancel.
Yep.
Data type text.
Yes. So this is another one of those things, because your power maps will be as good as the data is, right? So what you can do here is now you can fix it as date. Okay, this is it. Now let's get started. Apply and close.
Wait, you got an error on country.
What's that?
You got an error in country.
Country as well? Error in country, okay. Yeah. So this is what you can do here. You can go here.
No, even better, you can undo the steps that you make. So for example, the change that we just did and actually broke one of the columns.
Yes.
Instead of building a whole query again, you go to the right menu where you have the steps that you've been saving.
Yep, right here.
And you can delete the date change. So
Absolutely.
we're going to keep it like that, and we can change it later in Power View, or we can even just split, like take away date and come up with a visualization just with countries.
Okay, so now I'm going to take this data set here, right here, insert a power map. So power map is as an add-in into Excel. How do you get power map? Any guesses? Any sharing, knowledge sharing from others? How do you get power map?
You guys know this answer. I just told you.
Sorry?
It comes within. If you have an Office 365 subscription, it's already in there.
But if it's not there, all you do is go to powerbi.com and install the add-in into Excel. And once you have that, this is power map right here. And then what you can do is new tour.
It's a little quiz to see if you guys are not asleep.
So here we are inside of this new tour. And what we'll do is the first question it's going to ask us is, okay, well, it's not even asking me this question anymore. Look at this. It's new. This is a new feature, by the way. So it knew what my country or the column is, because I was in the spreadsheets trying to guess for me what are those zip code and what are those country or geography columns for me. So it guesses for you. But if it doesn't, all you have to do is go back to that one right here, population, as we said. Country name is my geography here. Go to next. And then all you do is essentially, let's just go to these country names here, right there. And then you simply select that value, population. So here we are. It's as simple as that. Let's just remove this thing. So you have some kind of power map which has these values or population, good stuff. But then you can have map labels. There we are. And let's say I don't like this visualization. I can use this. I can use this kind of bar. I can move this way. I can move that way, like this. Here we go. Or if I want to put date in there, all I do is drag and drop date. And date goes into my time. But it has to be valid date and everything else. So it's not really a date that I can use. But just wanted to show you a very, very simple thing. You can do this. Now, what we will do is actually start from a real demo that I had planned to show you. This was just to show you how easy it is to get started, right? So now, I'm going to share with you a real story about Microsoft Cybercrime Center. So how many of you were in the booth yesterday, Cybercrime Center demo? Okay, good. So it's a brand new thing. So Zoe here actually is from Microsoft Cybercrime Center in Redmond. And basically, she's been working in that group for what, 10 plus years? 10 plus years? Investigating cybercrime. So what is cybercrime? So any of you, let's say you go on your favorite search engine, right? And you type something, you are looking for some kind of bag. You search for it, the results come back. And this really is a true story, because in December, in the month of December, this is exactly what happened. There was a virus called AdClick. So when results come back, what do? You click on the ad on the next to it. There's a nice ad on next to it. So you click on the ad, it installed viruses on 10 million plus devices all over the world. It's just like in December time frame. So guess what virus can do for you? Any guesses? What can virus do?
Bad stuff.
It can really remember all your keystrokes, your social security number, your bank history, and essentially it can even turn your video camera on. That's why we have Cybercrime Center in Redmond. We work with law enforcement agencies, and including FBI, including Interpol and other countries, to really find those people who create those viruses. So why am I sharing this story with you? Because they're actually using Power Map. So in fact, lawyers are using, police people are using. So it's not really analysts I'm not talking about those IT people, analysts, really. Those front-end people are really using Power Map to really find people who create viruses, right? So in this demo, what we'll do is I'll show you the data set that they have over there, and it's in Power Pivot right there. It could be in Excel, could be in Power Pivot, could be any data like I showed you from internet. So they have this data set available here. And how many rows of data do you think we can put into Power Pivot? Any guesses? Yes? How many rows of data do you think maximum we can put into Power Pivot Excel? 1 million, right? Anything more? What about 100 million? Will you believe me? Yes, you can. So in Power Pivot, in-memory BI as another add-in enabled as part of Excel, you can have those hundreds of millions of rows of data. Now don't plot 100 million rows on Power Map, so that will not be, will go well. But here we go.
It depends a lot on how powerful your machine is.
Oh yeah, okay.
But the tool allows.
Oh yeah, with 64-bit actually. Okay, let me see. So I've tried 3.5 million rows. So here we go. Here is a table. I have just two tables I'm going to be using here. Threat is a virus. Sinkhole top threats is basically then cybercrime team intercepts signals. Now here's how it works, right? You're going to be part of my investigation team for next 15 minutes. There's a new virus spreading called Seraph. In the month of December, it really infected 10 million plus devices all over the globe. And essentially the thing is, people who create these viruses, they use something called botnets. So botnets are robot networks, so think of some supercomputers in some countries where they spread the virus on millions of devices, billions of devices all over the place. So they receive 100 million to 200 million rows of data a day. From what we do is we create a sinkhole within Microsoft, and all these infected devices, before they start sending your bank account number to the bad people, the signal comes to a sinkhole. We intercept the signal. We don't let it go, right? Makes sense? So sinkhole intercepts a signal and it prevents that personal information of yours to go to those bad people, right? So in the month of December, there was a virus. I mean, it stole $500 million of money from bank accounts, direct transfer, right? So that's the impact of all this. And it doesn't matter if it can be a Google device, could be a Macintosh or a PC. So they are using Power Map to really investigate crime. So let's see if we can do this in action together. Right? So there's a virus, it's spreading. Now I have a question for you. If somebody was to create that virus, would they do it in their own country or would they spread in some other countries? Really, a trivia question. Sorry? Other? Why? They don't want to be caught. Exactly. So people who create these botnets, they don't want to be caught in their own country. They'll spread in some other country. That's the logic we are going to use together as a team right now to investigate this crime. So here we go. Sinkhole top threats has very simple information. Distinct source IP is the number of devices infected. Infected devices all over the world, and threat is the virus name. Okay? And then at the most, I think we'll use the date column as well. So you have three tables here. So number of devices infected, threat is the virus, and date is that. All right, so let's get started. So I'm going to start with Power Map, and we're going to build, as I said, from scratch. So let's build a new tour. If you already built some tours, you'll have those here, but we're going to build from scratch. So let's do it. So here we are, the very first screen. What's the first question it's going to ask me is about? Geography, of course. So I'm just going to find some sinkhole here, top threat. So geography here in this case is latitude, longitude. If you have multiple geography fields, please feel free to select them all here in from that one particular table. You can flip-flop between country and all this good stuff.
The only reason why you didn't see the recommendation in this case is because Sanjay already built the model, so he didn't start from the table. That's why you have to select. If you have a table in Excel and you launch Power Map, that's when you will get that recommendation.
Recommendation, right? Yes. Okay, good question. The source I'm using is simply a Power Pivot model inside of Excel. But it could very well be the Excel file that you just downloaded from internet, some Excel data in Excel. So absolutely. So in this case, it's just simple looking at Excel or Power Pivot model.
And it's important to know, like anything that you do in Power Pivot has to be tabular. So even if you have a cube, you need to write MDX and make it tabular.
Yeah, but for Power Map to work, all you need is Excel. You don't need whatever I showed you. I showed you a little bit more complex because it has 3.5 million rows of data behind the scenes. And I kind of put a smaller view, all the good stuff. So I'm showing you real stuff. They are actually using this in action every day. Real case study, what I'm showing you. So we are, okay, fine, we have this. I know we have 15 minutes left, so I'm going to do my best here. So then what you do is now select the column you want to highlight, really. How many devices are infected? So from the same table or whatever you want to call this right here, I'm going to select distinct source IP. So this is going to show me essentially now it's really going for millions of rows of data. It just went through that and it's showing me the layer 1. This is just a legend. Let's remove that. Now let's start looking here. Look at this. So I don't like this color for some reason. So what can I do here? I'm going to change the color. So I'm going to go here, settings. And I'm going to be a little bit slow on this one because I would like you to fully absorb this and let me know if I'm too fast. By the way, can you understand me? I mean, should I speak slower? Good? Anybody? Let me know if I can. If you do this, I'll slow down, you know. Otherwise,
we'll get excited.
Yeah, we get excited, passionate. Hey, I told you it's one of my favorite products for like 15 years. I love it, simple, you know. So there's this. Okay, here we go. We are looking at this data. I don't know what's happening here. So sometimes you have to do this, and you have to do this because kind of, you know, really you have to highlight what you're trying to do. So I'm going to decrease the thickness here a little bit, maybe increase a little bit more, okay, and then essentially go for height. So now you can highlight the height. Now can any of you guess for me? I'm just going to keep you with me, right, away from emails, away from phone calls. So what do you think this in the middle of US, what is this? Any guesses? Is this bad data, you think, or what is it? This is a tall bar.
You only have the country level information?
Exactly. So what's happening is, this is an anomaly. This is where unknown was, or something like US, right? Some latitude, longitude, where we don't have zip code level information, then it just puts a tall bar. That's data anomaly, and you can fix it in the data set, right? I kept it so that to show you, highlight this thing.
We should have prizes for it.
Right, you know, I wish I did. So
next time we'll do that.
If you stop by the booth, they may have something, Microsoft booth, and definitely. So here we go. Okay, I'm looking at this infection of this virus, right? Remember the virus called Seraph in the month of December, real data, 10 million plus devices infected. And you're looking at this data set here. So opacity is another thing, you know, you can really, so you can see, hey, how nice, fuzzy, or do you really want this full-on real colors here? So you have 0 values, all the good stuff. You can also see that I have this, but you know what's missing here? I need to add the virus type. So I'm going to go here and add that virus type. That's the threat name. So threat name, as soon as you do that, it starts to come to life. When I say come to life, it's more colorful now, suddenly. Look at this. So now you're looking at these different viruses we have, and if I see legend, it's going to show you. So 4 viruses, real names, by the way, real data. Bamitel virus, Citadel virus is the one that stole $500 million from Australian banks, and then Seraph is the virus. So here's a virus that's spreading, and we're going to just see what's happening with this one. And if you don't like this yellow color, you can always go back here, choose this Seraph virus, and I'm going to make it again the green color. So here we are, and now we're going to get started here. So this virus is spreading in basically, this is very visually. So millions of rows of data that you're seeing right now. Do you see where is the more infection, East Coast or West Coast? East Coast, right? So this virus botnet is not located within US, it's somewhere else, right? Definitely somewhere else. So what you can do with this thing right now is you can change the theme. You can change the theme to be like this, okay? So now you're looking at this, these are various theme options you have. So you can use the Halloween theme that I think we used something like that last time. That's how we created that one. So here I'm going to choose this theme, or actually I'm going to go back to the same theme I had before. So here we are. So now what you can do is you can also make these minus plus, so you can really zoom in, zoom out here. You can also highlight something by doing like this. So let's say you want to highlight a bar. So there we are, right? So I'm just going to keep it like this for now, right? And I'm going to add a scene. So let's see the scene. All it did is click add scene. So you're creating a movie, right? Your fun, scene 1 is done, now you're getting scene 2. So all you do is click on add scene. Now it is going to copy the previous scene, and I'm going to do some modifications here. Here I want to highlight Europe, let's say. So I'm going to go to Europe, and you see the infection here in Europe as well, right? Something like this. So fine, so far so good. I'm going to add another scene here for the same thing and actually add a layer. So layer I'm going to add here is going to be like this. You go here, the first thing. There are three things here, literally. One is layer manager. The next thing is field list, what you want to show here. There we go, what you want to choose. The third thing is essentially the settings. So three things, right? So let's add a layer. So I will click on this, and then you see layer 2. The first thing I recommend you to do is really rename the layer. It gets confusing over time. So the second layer I'm adding, I'm going to call it hits. So these are the hits, total hits, like how many times did we get this whole signal from those sinkhole, from those PCs device or Macintosh device or Google devices. And then you have hits here. This is a hits layer, and this is this first layer that I had was essentially this one. I can go there. I can rename this one. This was distinct IPs, distinct IPs of those devices that pinged us. So now I have two layers. So what is this layer about? The hits. So all you do here in the hits is essentially now you can change that to so geography. Obviously you have to choose geography, the first thing first. So I'm going to select geography of latitude, longitude again, go to next, and here I'm going to select a heat map for something else. So let's do this. So I'm going to select this time total hits measure and select a heat map. So now that we have done that, let's see what's happening. Do you see a heat map here, or is it really not happening? Is it here somewhere? So the problem I think is the color scale. Here we go. I want to really make it like lots of it, you see. So here you can really highlight or de-highlight something. So color scale is good, no problem with that. But also the radius of influence, something like this. So now you're looking at these two things together, You're beginning to paint a picture here. So you see lots of hits on the east. How many, so hits versus the first thing. The first thing was how many distinct devices pinged us. The next thing was how many total times did they ping us. So now you have these two scenes together. So I think we can play a story here, right? We have this thing. Now the last thing I want to paint here, another scene here, would be about adding something else, a layer 3. So I'm going to remove these layers that I had, starting from blank, and add another layer for total devices per 100 people. So let's do that. Number of devices per 100 people. Here we go. Country. Next. And this is something from internet we got. Because why is it important? For us to know how, is it really, how many devices are there in those countries to know whether it's happening or not. So there we are, devices per 100 people, and I'm going to choose here the type of map would be a region map. There we go. So now you're beginning to paint a picture with this thing called region map. And in region map you can actually choose another color if you would like, or we can just keep it like green or something. Here we go. Well, green is too much, right, Miguel? So I think we'll choose blue this time. Okay. So blue, and then you can choose opacity. This way you're able to do this. Color scale. So you can really highlight or de-highlight this thing. Okay, awesome. So now we are looking at devices per 100 people, and so we can add other layers to this thing. Let's add another scene, and we're simply making a copy of that scene. Here we go. And we are going to add distinct IPs on top of it. So here we are, and in this case you can see this. We're going to go to distinct IPs again, increase the thickness a little bit. Okay, so with this we have a tour. So let's see if you can help me investigate this thing. We're going to play a tour right now. And you can add music to this, by the way, but I'm just playing this right now. So what you're seeing is, in the first scene, now let's see who can guess this one. If you guess the country where this infection came from, then we'll invite you to the booth and we'll have some kind of small prize for you in the booth, Microsoft booth. So this virus is called Seraph, And again, the green color, lots of green color that you saw here, is basically, this is the one which is spreading all over the place, right here. So you can see that it's not in US. The botnet is not located in US because lots of infection here. Now if we go to this in Europe, let's say here, now what do you notice here? Any guesses? Western Europe and Eastern Europe. What happened here? Do you see that? This trend of, what do you see? Lots of infection on the west side or the east side? Sorry? West side, you know? So something could be happening. Then we just overlaid a layer over there on top of that. What we did is essentially added another layer, remember, which was about the total hits as a heat map. So we just added a heat map below that. So you can see how many hits are there, and on top of it, how many total distinct devices are there. Then at the end, we added the number of devices per 100 people, right, over there. And then on top of it, if you see that the distinct IPs affected, then you can really try to guess this, right? So what I'm going to do is actually shift gears, and you can create a video from this. So when you create a video of this thing, you can simply choose this option, that option. I usually choose presentation high definition displays, and then you can select soundtrack now. So remember the music you saw? All you do is simply browse. Sorry, did you have any comment?
Oh, is that the music you heard?
Yeah, so it should
We
be.
didn't see the music.
Sorry? Oh.
Just joking.
Power Obsession. And then if I have some music here or something, you know, maybe Piano Lounge or something like that. Maybe this is the music here. So music folder. Which one was your favorite? This one, political games? Sorry?
The second to last.
Second to last, this one. Okay. So something like this, and apply. And then that's pretty much it, create. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a very quick one actually. Let me show you something. Create video. If you choose this last one, quick export and mobile, it'll be faster. So let's do this. We're going to add music to this. C, again, desktop.
And remember in soundtrack, a couple of things that Sanjay did to highlight. In soundtrack, if your tour is longer than the music, you can loop it in, you can fade out to make it sound better. And then if you notice, the tours, all Sanjay did was focus on a point, and then Power Map took care of the rest, like transitions between scenes, zoom in, zoom out. If you change to a 2D map, like Power Map will take care of that and create a smooth transition. That's the automatic way. But you can also go in on the options and actually change those transitions and change the effects that you have on a specific scene. So if you want to zoom in something, you can go with push in. If we have dolly effects, we have flyovers. You can personalize the storytelling that you have any way you like.
Absolutely. So I'm creating my video right now. I know we have, so I want to show you the finished product here. So whatever we did before is what I'm going to show you. And now let's see if you can guess with me, right? This virus, this is the last 2 minutes of this video here. So I spent more time on this thing, right? So here you can say, look, what's happening in San Francisco, it's a new scene we created. And then if you move to this other parts of the world, here in Japan, so you can add annotations. I'm going to show you in the last 2 minutes annotations as well. But you can add pictures like this. Then you have infection happening in India. What's happening is heartbeat analysis. So what heartbeat analysis means is the cybercrime team is in live action. They're able to see where is this infection happening, right? Where is data coming from live? So you can literally see this data set like that. And then if you go into this other part of the world, you can add tweets. So we did some analysis about the tweets. People are tweeting about the virus, you know. So then you can see more people affected on the East Coast versus West Coast. These are kinds of stories you can create like this. And then essentially here is the answer, okay, right here. And I'm going to pause this video. Let's see if the first person who can guess this so infection is located somewhere here in this map. What do you see? So it could be it's on that side of the thing, right? Because lots of infection happening on the West Coast, and it suddenly stops at the border. Sorry? The investigation is still happening. Zoe's here, and we are going to do a session actually, a cybercrime session at what time? 2 p.m. 1:30. We have a session on the Cybercrime Center, how they are using this tool. So you're welcome to stop by that session. We're going to share more with you. But yes, the investigation is happening in those two areas, in that on the eastern side of things. And but then somebody might say, oh look, maybe they don't have enough devices per 100 people in those countries on the eastern side. That's why. So we got use Power Query. We got this data about devices per 100 people, and we added that as a green color here. So which countries can you rule out here? Right? Sorry? Right? These countries you can rule out easily because there's not enough devices. So then if you overlay those two layers on top of it, so then you will begin to see the trend. Now you see the big picture, right? Hopefully, that how this team is actually using to investigate crime every day. And we're going to have a full session on this at 1:30 over there. Please see that one. And that's how they can find out. Now let's see if our video is done though. I really want to see. Okay, it's done. Let's see if we can open this. Completed, open. Like that? So hopefully you like this video, and then we just create something from scratch, of course. So you can really create your own stories and really emphasize any of these things. And I feel that this is a great product, and you can do this. Now, last two things which I did not show you, and I have to show you, otherwise, Miguel, we're out of time. Okay, fine. Last 2 minutes. So let's say you have this right here. This is the point where you want to add something. Add annotation here, and you say my city, something like this. Then here is how you do images. Image, you add image here. You go to your, for example, wherever the image is, right here, and Tokyo image, and then say that's it. My city is extra large, maybe, large image, and done. So that's how easy it is, right? So just a quick recap of everything we showed you is essentially you have these options here. You can add scenes, you can create videos, you can choose the themes that you have, choose map labels. The flat map is another interesting thing too, by the way. So let's say you don't want 3D impact. You want it to be a flat map. Then look at this. You have this flat map. So you can use a variation of a circle and a flat map, and you can do that. Now another last thing I want to share with you is this thing. The way this tool plays, if you choose these options differently, it will play differently. So the first scene, I want like a dolly effect, most popular. I think I like that one. And then the second one is essentially, let's say I want to circle, right? And then the third thing is going to be, let's say I want to fly over. And I know Miguel's favorite is actually push in, so I'm going to try that push in as well. And there we go, and I can zoom into this one place, right? So now let's see with that effect that we had really, if I play the tour from the beginning, what's the impact? Look at this. So this was the dolly impact in the first time we did this, right? First scene, okay? Now look at this, goes out and then comes back here. This is special effects of the movie you're creating, so there we go. It circles around. The next thing was circle, right? And then I think fly over. Now it's fly over. And then I think the last thing we're going to do is after this, essentially going to be the push in, So these are the kind of things. So it goes out and then pushes in, after this one, right? These are the kinds of things you can do. You can create your own stories, visualization stories, and it's a flat map right here. And we are done. So thank you so much for your time. Hopefully you enjoyed the session.
Sorry we couldn't take any questions, so I'm going to switch to this slide. I think we have our contact
one
info
last
here.
Slide. Actually, you do have one last slide.
I just want to show them our contact information in case they had any question. And we're going to be at the booth today and tomorrow in case you guys have specific questions.
Oh, no, we are going to be here as well. If you want, we'll stay outside with you as much time as you need. So any questions, please fill evaluation forms. This was we wanted to show you a real story, and that's why we showed you from cybercrime. Hopefully it resonated with you. And if you have any other questions, please feel free to ask us now.
Last thing, remember the two sessions we recommend. One is right now, which is Power BI for Office 365, and then Sanjay's and so is with a deep dive on the same demo that we saw here.
Cybercrime will be across other Power BI products. We'll show all the other products how we are using that.
And thank you for coming again.
Questions?
You can just come here.
Is it an analytical tool or is it a storytelling tool? These guys may use real time, but are they really doing analysis in this, or is it just for storytelling?
So I would say it's more of I would not call it an analysis tool.
Yeah.
Excel is that, the other tools are there within Excel, we have analysis tools.
Yeah.
So,
but touch base in the beginning a little bit. It was defined as a storytelling tool.
Yes.
But we discovered with the use, for example, from the cybercrime team or other team is that because you have a visualization, you can use it to discover insights. But you're right, it's not a real-time tool yet.
Absolutely. But you can you can complement this with your other tools that you have as part of Power, like Power View, right? Your Power Pivot. Along with that, if you use this, you will find a niche, good use of this thing, and our cybercrime team loves it. They just investigate the crime on the big PPI devices like this, and they can find the people.
Actually, I might be getting ahead of the cybercrime session, but because it's a storytelling tool, imagine all the different teams that you have involved in a task like this. You have police, you have lawyers. They don't know how to use Excel. You need to tell them what's going on so they can build their case. This is a great example of how can they do it. Like, imagine yourself in a courtroom explaining a judge, this is the country where it happened because there's no infections here. They're going to get it much better than if you show them a chart. Like, yeah, exactly. No computers in Ukraine. That's the idea.
What are the different formats you can save the movie as?
Create video.
It's only MP4.
MP4 for now.
Yeah.
Yes. Good question. Yes.
That's a good point.
Two questions. First, on the music, is there a way to do a voiceover?
Not yet. We heard that piece of feedback before, so yeah.
That's a good feedback, actually. Yes.
Secondly, how would you do the temporal data?
Sorry?
How would you do temporal? Like you show the virus, but that's kind of like a snapshot. How would you show it over time? Like here's how it's growing over time.
Okay. So you saw Sanjay, like actually in his tables, he had a time field. It could be days with time, years, anything you like. You just need to define it as time, so you can drag and drop it on the time axis. Yeah. So Power Map recognizes that you have a time field data, and it relates that to the geospatial and the actual values you have.
Here we go. So all I did is select a date. I selected a date here, and then it goes into this time thing here, and then it just becomes a bar here, and then it will play this over time. Yeah, good question.
No, the bars will change depending on the date. So you select the speed of the play, of how you want to play the data, and then you're going to see the values actually changing over time.
Yeah, so right now it's processing millions of rows of data to create a bar for me, and then it will just play this over time, moving things. That's just like I showed you in the video tour.
What relationships between 2 points? If I have, want to do like a data transfer and show your city A, city B, and I want to draw a line between those.
Excellent question. We don't have it yet. Actually, if you go to powerbi.com, you're going to see a sample that we built where we had 2 latitude points, and we created a line between those two. Powerbi.com. Yeah, and you can email me too. So basically what we did is like very simple because we don't have that feature here. We created thousands of points between those two, and we plotted that line, either over time or everything at the same time.
Sorry, say it again.
Did you work with performance point before?
Yeah, I was BI evangelist.
Power Query for now is going to keep being an external add-in. We know it's easier to just be built in, so we're working for that, but we don't have a date for that yet. Yeah, and Power View, I think it comes with actually it comes with Office too. Yeah. No, Power Map is already in. If you, yes.
Would this be coming in as cheap as we can do Power View right now?
You see it?
As you know how Power View it's an add-in for Power Query.
Mm-hmm.
You can do it in an Excel sheet, which is easier to discover for users.
Yeah.
Whereas
Yeah.
find it, launch it. There are plans to maybe allow Power Map to kind of display that as an Excel sheet.
Oh, interesting.
No, right now it's only the tour.
Yeah. What you can do, like,
It's hard to find, unless you show somebody.
yeah, like Power Map here. Yeah.
Show them how to do it.
Yeah.
Once
I think for
you
now
show
that's
it,
the closest.
you'll see. Once you show these tools to your business people, they will love it, and they'll say, "Oh, why did you not tell us before?" You just have to that initial thing, you know. And
Once they get hooked, they'll find it. But it's right. That's a good piece of feedback. Like we're trying. One of the workflows that we have is trying to make everything easier to use and more embedded into Excel. We're working on it, but we don't have any changes moving forward yet.
okay. Any other questions? Last one or two? Awesome. Thank you so much. Please
you guys
fill
again.
evaluation forms for us. Cheers.